Hello everyone and welcome back to Voxel Tales. My name is Dan and we kick off today where we left off last time, with the asurine machine. Because today I want to get as much of the church done as possible and that's going to require a bunch of copycat panels. So the first thing we're going to do is have a cheeky check of how much asurine we've amassed since last time. 912. Now that, as they say, is not a bad haul. Come asurine, into my inventory, for together we shall do great things. Probably. Between episodes, by the way, I installed a Kybe mod chunk loader so I don't have to be standing next to the machine for it to work. And I also added in this basic item collector from the appropriately named Item Collectors mod. As you can see from this chest, I was having a few problems with excess cobbled deep slate. The problem boiled down to the fact that the cobbled deep slate production outpaces the scoria, which means sometimes when the drill breaks the deep slate, it has nowhere to go. See, right now the belt is full, so if it breaks another deep slate, the cobbled block would be loose. Which would be fine if it sat still, but instead it has an annoying habit of wiggling its way onto the nether quartz belt and confusing the diorite mixer. But now, the collector sucks the loose block into the chest out of the way, which is good. Now if I just zip over here, I mentioned upgrading the cobble generator at the start of the machine to make it more efficient. Well, I did, and now the flow of cobble is much more consistent, because the level 2 generator makes 0.8 of a block every second, which works out at 20 blocks every 5 seconds. Whereas the level 1 generator only made 1 block every 5 seconds, a whopping 2000% increase. It wouldn't make sense to upgrade it any further at this point, because I don't think it'd do much more than end up backing everything up. Anyway, let's say we get this asurine over to the crusher and see how much zinc we end up with. Alright, Crushington, do your thing. Alright, that looks like the lot. First we craft up the nuggets. 31, good start. Next we chuck the crushed stuff into the bulk smelter. And in the end we come away with just over 4.5 stacks, all ready and raring to be turned into copycat blocks. Okay, now I can confidently say that I don't have to worry about running out of zinc. I'm going to go to the creative world and get this church figured out. See you when I've got something to show for it. Okay everyone, it's the next real world day because it took me ages to get to this point. I do, however, now have 2 boxes that are rammed with materials, ready to give this church a facelift. Now, I'm hoping that I can just print over what's already there. Not sure how that's going to go, but I guess we just start it off and hope for the best. Worst case scenario, we have a hilarious disaster and we can all have a good laugh at my ineptitude. Cue the time lapse. Future Dan here. I was mostly right about the schematic cannon printing over the top of an existing build. It did replace a lot of what we already had there as it went along, but as we've come to expect, it didn't exactly do it flawlessly. You'll probably notice me zipping about throughout the time-lapse trying to get in front of where I could tell it was already getting confused. It didn't help much. Sorry if it's a disappointment that the schematic cannon is doing the building, by the way. I had planned on doing what I did last time and figuring out a bit in creative, time-lapsing me doing it in the main world and flipping back and forth. But I also didn't want this project to drag on for weeks and weeks, and if I'd done it that way, we'd probably still be at it 3 weeks from now. So it made more sense to get the build finished, gather all the bits, and build it with the schematic cannon. Of course, doing so meant I had to spend ages correcting all the mistakes. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Right, are we all done? Yep, we are done. Okay, so, good news, we now have a much more complete church. But I know for a fact the schematic cannon has left a ton of unfinished areas. There's a load of texture in its mist. The windows on the top part there are full of holes. Pretty sure it's the same on the other side. Yep, same on this side, look. It ticks me right off because it makes it look like I can't follow a parts list. It just stopped texturing when it got to the tower. And it's missed a huge chunk of the depth out of the wall on this side. So I'm going to pret around putting all that right, and once things are ready for inspection, I'll bring you back in and show you around. Okay? Okay. Well, that took a fair bit longer than I expected. Which doesn't bode at all well for me getting an episode out this week, but we soldier on and hope for the best. Allow me to show you around. I've replaced the side windows out front because, like the big window, I didn't think they were grand enough. I've put a nice chunky dark oak door in, which can't actually be opened yet. But we'll do the usual create shenanigans soon enough and get that automated. I'm sure you've spotted by now why I needed all that zinc for copycat panels. If there's one thing all these big Gothic churches have in common, it's overly elaborate and unnecessary decoration. But we're all about that here at VT. If anything, over elaborate and unnecessary should be the channel motto. I'm quite proud of how these corner pillars turned out though. I love their chunky roundness. You may have noticed there's a side entrance missing from right here. Just thought it were too close to the front, so shifted it down this way a bit. Just above we have this sort of rainbow flower shaped window. Honestly, I was just trying to fill the space with something that looked pretty. Moving around to the rear of the building. Besides mirroring the big window at the front, I haven't done a lot with it because I'm not totally sure what's going on inside at this end. I also appear to have not textured a couple of blocks back here. Let me fix that real quick. There! Lovely job. Okay, now if I move us around to the last side, you'll see it's a mirror of the other side without the door, so I've added a bit of a pattern to the wall to fill out the space. I also noticed on these Gothic buildings the roofs are all very spiky, so I performed a severe spikification to the whole thing. Mostly they're a smooth stone block, into a copycat beam, then a copycat fence, and then a U-shear concrete stick if you were wondering. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers the outside, so let's head in through the side door and check out the interior. And here we are. I've followed through the calcite trim around the windows. Matching pattern on both sides, gotta follow the theme. And check out that view. That right there is what we call a nice view. And a big part of that view is these pews that, would you believe it, are partly made of copycat blocks. They're mostly made of dark oak planks panelling from chisel refabricated, but I achieved authentic pew side curve with McCaw's Western doors. I can just see a bunch of parishioners filling these up for a Christmas service or something. Not that they could get through the door right now. I've gone with stripped dark oak panelling for the ceilings because I thought it contrasted really nicely with the calcite. And then we come to this end, which, like I said, I haven't done much with because I don't know what I'm putting down here yet. I mean, an altar or a pulpit, I imagine, but I also wanted this to be a functional building somehow, and I don't know how much room I'm going to need. Anyway, that's something I'll have to think on. For now, though, I should probably get the front door into a working state. What do we reckon? Yeah, I think we should do that. Let's do that. Okay, so long term, I'm going to have to get this place connected to the main power supply. But currently, the windmill is only powering the iron farm. Full disclosure, the wood farm hasn't been hooked up for months, and with the shed gone, it's not even powering the lift anymore. So I reckon we collect up all these bits and we tap power from the windmill for now. A new, bigger, more productive lumber mill is on my to-do list. Alright, first job, I'm going to have to tunnel over to where we need to be. And we're through. Now, where exactly are we? Okay, still a little ways over, that's fine. We'll just extend the tunnel a bit. Hang on, where's my tunnel? No, but seriously, where's the tunnel?
Only thee could lose a tunnel you've just dug.
I haven't lost it, I've just misplaced it. See? There it is, look.
That'd lose the head if it weren't screwed on.
Well, alright. That should run us straight, well, mostly straight, to the doors. We just need to run a shaft line over there and we'll be golden. Okay, that's got power over here. Next job, I suppose, is getting the mechanism fitted. Well, that was more of a faff than I expected. You'd think I'd have that mechanism down pat by now. Now, to make sure these things don't break anything, we set them both to only place near initial angle. That way they don't try and set themselves over anything else. And now they are set, I shouldn't need to change them again, so I can stick the stairs back in. Beautiful. And it's night, so I'm off to bed. The next morning I installed a couple of copycat pressure plates and set them as bluestone bricks to match the floor. Then I installed a redstone link below the pressure plate and on each of the sequenced gear shifts below the doors, making sure to set them both to receive mode. and to the same frequency I set the transmitter inside to. Then the sequence gear shifts just needed a little programming to make sure they opened and closed properly. Honestly, I never know whether I have the turn set properly until I test the door. Alright, let's test it out. Well, it might help if I actually stick the doors together. Right, take two. Yeah, look at that. Perfect. Of course, now I'm outside in the rain and I haven't hooked up a button out here. There we go. Alright. Suppose I just need to cover up this side and we'll have a fully functional door. Just like that. Nice. Right, next job. Figure out what we're going to do with this place. Alright, I wandered around in the rain for a while thinking about how best to use this church we've built. Then I remembered the original inspiration for the build was the Spectrum mod, so I went and grabbed the guidebook and did a bit of research. It turns out that the pigment pedestal we made has an upgraded version, and that upgraded version needs an entire altar built around it. It also has a handy visualization system so we can see exactly how it needs to go together. It looks pretty straightforward actually, so I'll just assemble it and bring you back in. And lastly the pedestal. Okay, good to go. Now, according to the book, I need to put the 3 basic shards on the pedestal in this order. And with a tap of our magic brush, we get the twinkly music and I assume it does its thing. Oh, there we go! Pedestal gets an upgrade and we unlock a bunch of stuff in the book. Cool. Okay, so first thing I want to test is if the new pedestal needs the altar now it's upgraded. Because if not, I can just move it in here. What are you? Structure upgrade available. And I assume that goes away if the pedestal's on the altar? That would be an affirmative. Right, so that means I need to put the altar inside the church, which comes with its own set of issues. Primarily the fact that this altar is a 1-block centre. But I might be able to work around that, so first let me just get this moved inside. Boosh! Now we have a fully functional but awkwardly 1-block centre altar in our church. And now I get to try and make it work in a 2-block centre building. Wish me luck. Okay, I think we're symmetrical. And if I've done my sums properly, I should be able to not have all the shards. Dang it. As I was saying, I should be able to put all the shards in here. Aha! Matching pedestals. It does look a bit dark though. You know what? Editor Dan, tart it up for me. Ta-da! It's not perfect, but it is prettier. And you know what? It's good for today, so I'm going to leave it for now and just do the sign-off. That's it for this one, guys. With any luck, somebody will come along eventually to make use of this church now we've built it. In the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the show, then help the channel grow by subscribing and leaving us a cheeky like and a comment below. I've been Dan. This has been Voxel Tales. And until next time, remember, be good. And if you can't be good, don't get caught. Bye, guys.